Namaste and Jai Hind. The true idea of freedom for me is when women of our country can walk without any fear right in the dead of the night. This is what Mahatma Gandhi had said, ladies and gentlemen. As Bharat completes 77 years of its independence and enters its 78th year of independence, are the women of our country truly free? This question lingers in my mind as I say namaste to you. I'm Anand Narasimhan, with me Rahul Shivshankar and Zaka Jacob. A slew of events, ladies and gentlemen. The latest one with what's happened in Kolkata. There is an assault on a doctor inside a hospital, inside a medical college. And look what is transpiring or what's happening under the aegis of a lady who's the chief minister and the home minister of that state, the only woman chief minister today. We're not getting into the politics of it. It's the approach to assaults and offences like this. And there seems to be a modus operandi whenever there is a VVIP or somebody special involved, a cover-up job or a hack job that happens. And it's not just with assault, even with hit and run in Pune we saw it. So the idea somewhere is, are we really out there to give justice to women, people, victims? Or sometimes does who is the accused or who's the person involved, does that become a greater factor? I don't know, somehow, gents, this is what is, been bothering me for a while as we've been tracking this story. Your thoughts, Zaka?
No, you were mentioning, Independence Week, and, India became free at midnight. And on the midnight of 14th of August this year, women of Kolkata, women of Bengal, women across the country were having this almost second freedom movement by trying to reclaim the night, as they called it. That's the popular phrase that's been used. Reclaim the night. And look at what happened. A bunch of gundas. I have no other words to describe them. Complete ruffians, and in large numbers, thousands of them, sent to the RG Kaur Medical College, allegedly by the ruling party. Of course, it's a matter of investigation, but allegedly by the ruling party. And what is even more shocking for me is, it's one thing to brazenly go in there, vandalize the place. There's Kolkata police. This is the scene of the national media's attention for the last 5 days since this shocking case came to light. And the police are doing nothing. They are looking the other way, like completely incompetent to deal with these ruffians, to deal with these gundas. And the question we need to ask is, who does this benefit? Because clearly it is benefiting somebody politically, right? Otherwise, I refuse to believe that the Kolkata police is so incompetent that they can't deal with a bunch of gundas outside the RG Kaur hospital and stop them from entering and stop them from vandalizing the place. It's clearly political. And the way I look at it, there's only one party or dispensation that benefits politically.
The state's chief minister, correct me if I'm wrong, is also the home minister of the state.
Yeah.
And multiple instances, Rahul, in this case, it's on the day that the investigation was handed over, the case diary was handed over to the CBI, and this happens.
So, can you tell me, there is only one woman chief minister in India right now. Do you know who it is? Mamata Banerjee. Her party prides itself in sending the largest contingent in proportion of MPs, female MPs, to the parliament. This is a state where we are told that Ma Mati Manush are the pivot on which the administration, governance, the entire edifice rests. But what do we have? We have freedom at midnight, and I tweeted this, where a hospital which has become really the epicenter of determining whether women can actually be truly free in one of the most enlightened states, has turned into, as he said, a akhada of sorts for goons to prove a point. And what is this point that they're proving, and to whom? Are they telling the women of Bengal, like a minister said a few days back, don't come crying to me at night, or your husbands, if something goes wrong if you go out there? You see how those words have turned out to be so prophetic in such a negative sense? This is what one of the ministers said.
Yeah.
But 2012,
now you have a situation.
Sheila Dikshit said the same thing.
Exactly. Now you have a situation.
And 2024, you have
where Anand, this has become, political violence in Bengal is the #1 ranked state with political violence. I have the statistics here. So this is a study that was conducted by Observer Research Corporation, which says that in 2010 right up to 2019, a total of 161 murders have happened because of political activity. I'm not saying it's only the TMC, etc. What I'm trying to get at is that there is a free-for-all in this state where the state administration or the police or whoever is in charge is looking the other way. And fundamentally, you have a breakdown in law and order. Now, democracy is about giving people a level playing field, isn't it? That's what we were told. In Bengal, quite clearly, it isn't. It isn't for protesting women. It isn't for perhaps the opposition. Panchayati Raj elections happened because the Supreme Court tells you that, look, you've got to be fair to the other side. Local body elections are happening under the glare of the courts, once again telling you that you aren't creating the environment for free and fair elections, democracy. Yet, you will never hear anyone say, democracy khatre mein hai in Bengal.
TMC has the highest number of women MPs by proportion, right? Not many of them have actually come out and said in public, condemned in public.
Perfunctory response.
I mean, they've put out some, like he said, perfunctory statements. But I want to separate two issues. One is the political violence part. And frankly, you look at the history of Bengal, it's not like political violence started with Mamata Banerjee coming into power. The CPM was far worse when it comes to political violence. Even before that, the Congress used political violence. But I think the larger issue is about women and women's safety. And I think that's a conversation we need to have, because we had this conversation once nationally in 2012 when Nirbhaya happened. As a result of which we had better laws, we have some fast-track courts. But 12 years later, we need to ask ourselves, what has actually changed on the ground? Has anything changed on the ground?
No, not in terms of attitude. You talked about political violence. We have not even, at least in Bengal, political violence has not even separated the assault on women and brutalizing women. There has to be a line drawn saying, okay, I'll get violent, or I may not agree with political violence, but they may say, all right, in Bengal it's normalized. But you are going and beating somebody up, but you have to draw the line saying, no, I'm not going to assault women.
So Anand, reclaiming the night was a peaceful protest. We've had certain
No, look how those people were treated.
And look at how they were intimidated. Now, who is going to dream of taking out a peaceful march? As I'm saying, if you are benchmarking democracy and the extent of its penetration in Bengal, and you say that we have the best, well, unfortunately, the facts don't reflect that. My problem is, who is talking about it at the national level? You have a bunch of allies that have gone into silence mode. You've had Rahul Gandhi make a statement after 5 days.
After the courts opined on it, and the matter went to the CBI.
And the matter goes to the CBI. There's nobody showing up in that place at RG Kar Hospital saying we are going to sit here and do
Nobody is doing this padyatras and march.
No one is doing
when it all happened to Hathras, rightfully so. It should have happened for RG Kar.
Can only be drawn if it becomes a conversation point. It is a conversation point around this round table, but is it really a larger issue that people are engaging with at the political level? Will Parliament special session be called? The Prime Minister makes a reference to women and empowerment and safety. The BJP should go out there and say, look, we are going to have a Parliament special session and forget about just Bengal. We'll take a larger view, as Zaka says, on really where are we 13 years after Nirbhaya.
No, the onus is also on the alliance, the opposition, which has come together, and this whole aspect of Samvidhan. See, when you hold the constitution in your hand, on your head, and show it around, then you've got to walk the talk. At all points in time, you've got to walk there. You cannot pick and choose saying, oh, it's BJP, so let me go after them. It's Trinamool, let me keep quiet. It's Congress, let me. If it's, these are some things which are supposed to be non-negotiable.
In fact, funnily, Mamata Banerjee is taking on Rahul Gandhi, saying you look in what's happening under your watch in your states before you comment on what's happening in my state. That's the level of buck passing. And
I think I go back to that whole point. Reclaim the Night was not a political protest. It was not a BJP protest or a left protest or a Congress protest. It was the women of Bengal, the women of Kolkata, who came out and said, we need to reclaim the night and we need to reclaim public spaces for women. I mean, I have a daughter, Rahul has a daughter,
I have a daughter.
You have a daughter too. We all have daughters. I mean, we need to think about 10 years down the line or 15 years down the line when they inherit this country. what sort of cities and what sort of streets are we leaving out for our women? Would you dare send your daughter on a public transport, let's say even if it's an Uber, in the middle of the night? I can't think of doing that even today, even in 2024, and that's a shame.
Well, you see, I have grown up as a parent, I'm telling you that I have just told my kids two things. Said, learn to swim and learn to fight.
Yeah.
Fight to defend yourself. Now, because at that time, I know that this system is not going to come and help you, and we are not creating an environment. So I have to I have to help my daughter and my son to learn to defend and save their lives. Not to go and attack somebody else, but to defend. Now, one of the things, and it's coming from that innate fear that we are not living in a society where even in private organizations today, how many women are doing night shifts?
Exactly.
How can we ensure safety for them?
And this victim, the young doctor who died, was actually working. She was assaulted and killed in her workplace. I mean, if we can't guarantee that much safety, and when I mean the state can't, because ultimately law and order is the state's responsibility, I mean, can you imagine if women come to the night shift to work here at CNN News 18 and we can't guarantee that they'll be safe till the morning, till their shift time gets over? I mean, that's unimaginable.
I know, and the category of employees.
Sorry, I'm just saying. So, yeah, please. Yeah. The other challenge is that even if organizations say when you're in the campus you're safe, but they've got to step out at some time.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't say that you cannot step out.
So
you
this
step
is
out
my
at your own
problem
risk.
with this horrible midnight violence. When the country should be awaking to life and freedom, you have freedom for the lumpen, the mobocracy, the mob, to turn India into a mobocracy in a state which actually sparked the Enlightenment. I mean, if there were reforms to give women equal rights, this was the cradle.
Yeah.
We've had some great social reformers.
Raja Ramon Rai, everyone's done.
Where is that spirit today in Bengal? Women come out and they're set upon. The message from a politician yesterday was, don't go crying back to your husbands. Forget the sexism involved. It was a threat which played out.
Yeah.
Who is going to hold who to account? Fundamentally, that's what a democracy is about, accountability.
And I'm just saying, if women are not in control in a state that's believed in a woman leader, and a tall one at that.
Yeah,
to Mamata Bandyopadhyay's credit, she is one of the tall, and she has fought sexism. She has fought adversity.
She's been dragged to the streets.
And for women of the state of West Bengal to say they don't feel empowered and they want to reclaim the night, it's sad.
I feel the way the administration, whether it's the college, the police, and even the state administration, the way they responded was completely ham-handed. And I want to add another angle here. These doctors, it's an RG card, it's a heart of Kolkata, they've just witnessed what's happened next door in Bangladesh.
Yeah.
The students, overthrew a long-time ruler there, right? And ultimately, I mean, Bengali brethren divided by, the horrors of history, if you will. But fact is, they're looking at that and they're saying, what are we fighting for? We're fighting for a basic right that women, half our population.
And on August 15, if we can't come together as a nation to speak up for ourselves, like some of the founders did, who did they speak up for? Themselves, for us, for Indians. If you can't do that, then I'm sorry, what does democracy really mean?
No, and this discourse needs to be raised because no other chief minister of any other state and no other home minister of any other state can come out and even make a statement till the time they can guarantee that women of their state, women in their places, in their cities, towns, etc., can work through the night and they don't need to reclaim the night because the night and day, everything is theirs. Now, unless that happens, I don't think finger pointing is going to work. We got to sort out our own mess because these protests may happen in any other city, in any other state, any other point in time if people feel unsafe. Gents, we're going to take a break on that note.